maintain. And I think for a lot of people, they get to a stage and it's like, shit, too old, but you're not too old. Like, we don't want regrets, but you have to understand your body is like a machine. And Tara will be delving into the mindset tonight. So we're going to start off, right? Number one, for high performing human beings. And actually, before I get in, please leave a question down below. If you get value out of this, all we ask is you share it. And who knows, you could end up saving someone's life and you could end up improving, and that's what it's about. So what is the first one? This is going to be the physical side of it. I'm going to talk about lifting weights. Why are weights important? Now, I do want to say for the ladies out there, and even some men who say to me, Derek, I don't want to look like a bodybuilder. I will say, do you drive a car? Are you going to be a Formula One driver? No, that is just stupid, okay? You are not going to look like a bodybuilder, but muscle is essential. Muscle is equal to life itself. So there's certainly nothing against anyone doing cardio, because there's a time and a place for cardiovascular health. But what I do see a lot of, and I know this from experience, is a lot of people want to get into shape so they'll go running on the roads, but you don't notice any difference. And we will get to the nutrition side of it. Whereas muscle is equals to life, will add, and this is all science, by the way, this will add years to your life. So who wouldn't want to be doing that? And yes, there is a wrong way and there's a right way, because yes, you go to the gym, you lift weights, or alternatively, you do it at home. But you can be consistent in the gym, going from machine to machine, dumbbell to dumbbell, and not producing results. So it does take, listen, it takes the learning, it takes the knowledge. And I'm actually open to messages on this. And I will just give you in-depth answers. So just come into my inbox, not selling you anything, just come into my inbox and ask me, hey, what about this exercise? What would you do here and there? So that's my offer now. I've put it out there. So do take me up on it. So weight training, intensity, it's going to come down to, first of all, intensity. It's going to come down to technique. It's going to come down to form. It's going to be consistent, doing the right things over and over again. So when you begin, or if you are lifting weights, it is a matter of slowing down to actually go faster. A lot of the time is actually maybe don't do as much as what you're doing and concentrate on doing less and doing it better. And when you do it better, you will gain more confidence and you will begin, you will begin to shape up, because this is about, again, I had this conversation with a client of mine who used to be in my gym, and now has a business in America. And I was chatting to him 2 hours ago, and he said to me, I said, why are you on the call? He said, well, listen, I'm not getting as much respect as my business partner. I said, that's interesting, because I actually put something on Facebook, and this isn't an ego thing, what I'm about to say, but I said, why? And he said, well, I am overweight. My business partner's in shape, and he commands way more respect when he speaks, and nobody, it's not that they don't respect him, but they don't listen to him as much. So, if your goal is to be a high performer, which I trust it is about knowing how to lift weights, because lifting weights or strength training is equal to building muscle, is equal to giving you added life. Tara, what do you have?
I like that, Derek. So why don't you repeat step one, and anyone who's here with us, and we want to encourage you to not just be a spectator, but to be a participator. Because like Derek's saying, it's action. I mean, action is key in manifestation and creating the desired outcome that you want. So what's step one for the physical?
Step one for the physical is strength training, and that can be done in the gym or at home, Tara.
Okay, so strength training. So I'm going to be diving into the mindset. And so I'm going to be alternating with Derek. Now, we become what we think about. And I want you to write that down. We become what we think about. The mind is the most powerful resource that you have. And although we'd like to think that the mind is always working in our favor, and most of the time I would say it is, but much of the time, at the same time, your mind is working against you. And your thinking is absolutely key. I mean, thoughts are things. So you want to get your mind aligned with that desired outcome, right? You want to align your thinking, because we do become what we think about. So what are you thinking about most of the time? And you might want to carry a pad of paper and a pen around with you and just to, jot down what are those thoughts. And it is going to be reflected in your results. So if you want to get better results, you're going to have to change your thinking. You're going to have to start using your mind versus your mind using you. And, going back to Derek's first point, which is so key, right? Is like he's saying you got to get lifting heavy weights. Well, the fastest way, because most people are stuck in their head. And when you're in your head, you're dead. You got to get more into your heart. And when you lift heavy weights, when you move your body, you actually get more into your heart center. So I would just add this on to Derek's share in the importance of, again, pairing up and understanding that getting your physical and your mental well-being aligned is absolutely essential here.
Perfect for me to say this. Now you've reminded me, I was in the gym and I've noticed a woman in the gym. She's very good at training and stuff. And we just got chatting today, Tara. And, I asked her, what brings you to the gym and stuff? She said, listen, for my mental health. And I said, did something happen? She has a young daughter who is going through cancer. And she said, Derek, only for the gym, I forget about all my worries when I'm in the gym. I'm focused, I'm concentrated. It's making me feel better, and I'm actually stronger to be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with my daughter and get her through this. So you see, all this is meant to happen. This live was meant to happen tonight, and we were meant to talk about these points because there's so many stories, just from talking to people. And what Tara is saying, like for a lot of people's worries and troubles, which they're caused by oneself, by one's thinking, a lot of that can be eased by just getting in. And gym training is important. Or even like if you're playing a sport, because at that time you're focused and concentrating. You're actually, as Tara knows, you're using your willpower because you're completely focused. So they're the first 2 points. Now, obviously, we're looking at health. So we're looking at health from both an inside job and an outside perspective. So point 3 is going to be nutrition. And there's still a lot of confusion around nutrition. And I'm going to keep it quite simple. The most important part of nutrition for you to understand, and it's all going to be important, but the first one I'm going to talk about is protein. And why people run and they can't stick to, we will say, a diet, but ideally if you reframe that and you went, hey, I'm making a lifestyle choice now. So it's not a 6-week program. It's not a 12-week program. It is a lifestyle choice. Now, when you again can use food and you can go, I can have that biscuit, but I just choose not to. It's a lot more softer on your mind. And, Tara can get into a bit more in depth about that. But with nutrition, protein is essential. Now, the way I look at it, I'm just going to keep it simple. We're not going to get per pound, you need a half a gram, this and that. For a man like me and a man like you who's weighing in at about, we will say, between 90 and 100 kilos, you want a minimum 200 grams of protein. For a lady like Tara, who's roughly half the size of me, she would want roughly 100 grams. Now, that is just a good marker. Now, that will satisfy your hunger so you don't get those cravings in the night for the sugary carbs, right? And all of that sort of stuff. But it does take willpower, and it goes back to, so all of these are interconnected. So we had the weights, then we were saying with Tara, you have to get focused on, the result that you want. And then this is just breaking it down and going, okay, this is just my daily action step, and it's enjoying the process of it. It's like eating healthy, a lot of people say is expensive. It's not really. And I'm going to actually start doing videos of how quick and easy my meals are, minutes to do, and it has all the nutrients. So what are you looking for out of your nutrition? Protein, carbohydrates, healthy fats. Yes, if you're trying to lose weight, you will want to have less carbs. It's not about eradicating carbs and going on keto. There's a time and a place for this, but it is having healthy fats. We will say, I'm just going to say, for a man around 70 grams, for a woman around 40 to 50, they're variables. And for carbohydrates, listen, it's just to have 1 or 2 meals out of your 3 to 4 meals with carbohydrates, not stacked full, but that can be rice, it can be potatoes, it can be sweet potatoes, it can be even go as far as saying bread, and you can still have a snack or 2 of your choice, because nutrition is going to fuel not only your body, but it's going to fuel your mind. Now, I was actually again talking to someone today, and she made me aware, which is a very good point, that the ground where a lot of our food is coming from is really not that nutritious anymore, because it's just been over harvested and stuff, and even organic stuff. So sometimes we do need supplementation. And that could be, listen, a vitamin C, krill oil, or a good fish oil. I use krill oil personally. What else? And a good multivitamin. I would keep it very simple. So you're just making sure you're getting what your body needs. Vitamin D3, I'm okay for, but I think in Canada in the winter, and especially in Ireland and other places around Europe, you certainly need some vitamin D3, and a lot of people are deficient in that. And in iron is another big one that people are deficient in. And it's just, we're not getting it from our foods, but we should get a lot of it from our foods, especially when you're picking quality. But if you think it's expensive to eat healthy, I do want you, like, you know, maybe fast forwarding from where you are, if you're not in a great position, health, mental and physical, what's the cost going to be of your life when you get to 50, 60, 70, and you go, oh, I really fucked up here. That's a far greater cost, and it's a far greater regret than now choosing just an improved lifestyle. And it's actually, you don't have to do a whole 360. It's just implementing one or two things a week and building on it. And with that, your confidence will build, your energy will build. You know, you're beginning to think about training like this. Training is the builder and nutrition is the sculptor. And so you are the artist of your own. Really, you're the artist of your own external physique, but you're also the artist of what goes on in your mind. As Tara said, you are what you think. So that's point 3, Tara. So we've covered weight, you are what you think, and nutrition so far.
Yeah, so I'll go with, I'm going to do 5 points as well for mental health, if that's okay, for your mindset, if that's okay, Derek. And so, yeah, we become what we think about. That was my first point. And, you know, Derek, as you were sharing around the nutritional aspects, which, you know, I've learned a lot from you, and I just love, you know, I used to be just so big into all the nutrition. I think it's really important to take a look and to invest some time and some energy and some money into getting educated, into, making sure that we are fueling our bodies, because that essentially is going to fuel your mind as well, of course. And as you're sharing, it made me think of this quote by he's like a millionaire, and he said he spent all of his time and energy earning this fortune, and now because of his health, he's going to spend all his time and money trying to get his health back. So, I mean, real wealth is your health. So you want to take care of your health and make sure that you do get the education and knowledge that you need. So first point for your mental well-being, to improve your mental well-being, is we do become what we think about. Thoughts are things. Second point I would say is, don't let the outside world control your inside world. Many of us on this planet, and it's just that genetic and environmental programming again, we're just playthings for what's going on outside. We saw this the last 3 years. It is so important that you be in charge of you, regardless of what is going on outside, regardless, because there's going to be many things in your life that you're not going to be able to control. But what you can control is how you respond to what's going on. And that's the internal work, which is so essential to your mental well-being. Is, again, getting the education, getting the knowledge around, again, especially the higher side of your nature. You have the ability to think. You have the ability to be in control of you. You have the ability to respond versus react. I always say a great barometer is if you're reacting a lot, right? If you're allowing the outside world to control you, then you're going in the wrong direction. And this is the difference between leadership, because leaders lead from within, and dictators are, reacting all the time. And so you want to be a leader in your life. And I really believe that the leader that you're looking for is you. So, don't let the outside world control you. You be in control of you. So that is my second point.
Yeah. And that's, listen, it's really, it does bring me to my next point. It's a sort of mixing the two of them. It's daily action, Tara, where, listen, we all go through it. I don't think there's anyone that doesn't go through some turmoil or up against the challenge, adversity, if not daily, but you know, it does come. And it's how do you come back from it? What actions are you willing to take? And a lot of the time, if you just continue on the path of taking actions, whether you believe you're getting results or not, that does compound over time. And it does. And I've experienced it, I'm witness to it, even with other people. Sometimes we have to just take our feelings and put them aside. And like you might ask, a lot of people then might ask, hey, like, how much should I be training? Well, the reality of it is just move your body every day. It doesn't have to be heavy training. Like it can be, you know, even like the way Tara goes for walks, I go for nice walks. Now, for me personally, what I do is Monday to Saturday, I weight train, but are all those sessions heavy? No, because you have to look after your body. It's not like if we jumped in my car now and we went, you know, fast speed, fifth gear all around the island every day. It's going to burn out after a while. Your body is the same. So like you know, you can train. I would train a minimum 3 times, maximum 6 times. But out of those sessions, 3 to 4 will be heavy. The others will be, we will say, medium. But the rest of the days, if you with time, even if you weight train twice a week, is fine. And you just moved your body and you went for 15, 20-minute walk. Now, ideally, it would be 45 minutes, but you have to do what you can do in the time frame that you do have as well. And it's just, again, it's going right. It's taking the right actions that are moving you in the right direction. And it's just a continuation of taking more of them consistently, because I wrote a post about this a while ago. I'm in the gym a lot, so I see people, but they don't change, you know, from year to year. So it's great that they go to the gym, but it is pointless if you're not getting results and you're not like building strength, you're not feeling better. It's just, you're just then going through the motions like a robot. Whereas when you do go to the gym, you know, like Tara said, just use it to really focus. Like all issues will go in that moment that you're concentrating on each rep, each set. And like you build on that daily. So when the day does come, when I don't really want to get out of it, I don't want to do it, you will do it anyway because you've built so much experience. So that's the next point.
Yeah, and I like it, you know, because of course I've been teaching universal law or God's laws for some time, and it makes me think of the law of vibration. And, you know, when you move your body, like Derek's saying, every day, you just feel better. Like that improves your mental health. So, I mean, you want to make a commitment that in some way you are moving your body, that you're doing something where you're getting, you know, you're breathing heavily, you're getting your sweat on, because it's going to shift your vibration. I mean, primary law is law of vibration. Everything moves, nothing rests. So just something for you to think about without getting into the laws. My third point would be to pay attention to what you really want. You know, what do you really want in your life? I believe that everybody has a purpose, that everybody's life matters. And it's so important that you are moving towards something that makes you feel good. I think that the way, again, that the programming works is many people are doing things that they actually don't love and that doesn't make them feel good. You know, there's a statistic that I forget how high it is. It's really high in the United States. It's a little bit less in Canada, but I think it's as high as like 70% of people go to work praying they don't get fired, but at the same time hating their job. I mean, that is going to kill you. That is a life sentence. So I would say focus more and pay attention more to what do you love to do? What do you love? What do you want to create? And, you know, pull out a piece of paper and a pen and just start writing down, what do you love? What makes you feel good? What are you good at? And I would start moving more in that direction. Again, many people, it's just a program that they bought into. I know I initially did. I mean, Derek, that's why I went into physical therapy. Many people in my family are in the medical field. You know, they're nurses. Even my grandma, Chrisman, she used to write, oh, Tara's in nursing school and she's working as a nurse. And I wasn't. I was going to physical therapy, school, to university. And the programming for me was like, get a job, union, great pay, I'm going to be a lifer. And then I got into that work because it was part of the programming. And within a few years, I mean, I can tell you right now, if I never see another hip replacement, I am fine with that. I mean, it was so redundant for me, and it just wasn't, it wasn't my purpose. It wasn't me accessing more of who I was and really being in this place to serve. And I also realized just through some of the union and the politics that it just wasn't where I was meant to be. I mean, for some people, and good on you, that's where maybe you love to be, but just make sure whatever you're doing, you really love it. Pay attention to what are you good at? What do you love to do? Where do you want to go?
Yeah, good points. And it brings me on to the next one. Listen, it's right. I'm not going to get onto accountability yet, because that is very important. But it doesn't matter what plan you have. A lot of people, what do I do? How do I do this? And if you don't know what to do, just test it. Now, alternatively, you ask the question here. I mean, to the inbox, you ask the question. There's loads of stuff online about training, and people are confused, because I get it. There's too much information, but it's actually just about starting something, and it's actually going, right, okay, I'm going to test this. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, I review it and I adjust it. And that's about as simple as I can put it, because for a lot of people, Tara, they don't test anything and they just go, that doesn't work, that's a failure, where it's not really. It's, you just didn't do it the right way in the first place. It's not a failure. You just have to repeat the process, adjust it slightly, and don't keep repeating the same mistake over and over again. And it is, listen, when you're in a gym environment, you have to be able to, especially if you go to the gym by yourself like I do, you have to get into the zone. You're not going to the gym as a social event. Yes, do I talk to people? Of course I do. But when I'm in the training zone, I'm in the training zone, and it's time to step up. Now, what does that teach you? Well, that does instill mental strength. It doesn't only build your physical capacity and your body, because think of, like, you're in the gym to build yourself as a person, as well as building your body. So, like, those reps count. And when you're training hard, you bring that work ethic to other parts of your life, because at the end of the day, it's a discipline. And the same goes for boxing, sports, any type of sport like that at a high level, or even an amateur level, because, it is instilling discipline. We talked about this, Tara, before. Discipline, we weren't born with discipline. And it's a skill we have to master, but all of these things are very perishable, because if you only do it for a certain amount of time and then revert back to old self, which are the points Tara is making, and she's given you information that when you apply it, you will get the results. You will have the both of them blended together. But it is thinking of it like, okay, I'm going into the gym, whether that's 40 minutes or whether that's an hour, and that's plenty of time. By the way, any longer than an hour, you're wasting your time in the gym. You should be at nothing. I don't understand these people that go to the gym for 3 hours. It's bullshit. You cannot train for 3 hours properly. You go in, put your mind to it, and when you can focus your mind on the gym, you can focus your mind on other things to start to see results in other areas that you want to improve. But the most important thing is you leave the gym in a sweat and going, do you know what? I did well there. Now that's a win. You've, after stacking up, a good win. Now you blend in what I was saying about the nutrition to that. You start like finding out a bit more information about nutrition, testing that. Well, now you start a bit more energy. You start looking better. Now confidence is higher. Now, how long can you do that for to instill it as a habit? You probably have to do it realistically for 12 months. Let's stop this bullshit with 21 days, 3 months. It doesn't build a habit, because many times have you done a program before and just fall back to square one? It's like what I said with the discipline. It will take time to cultivate. And you, like this one, Tara, the persistence part of it, because it's the two of those married together, really, is what's going to produce the results over the long term.
Yeah, I like that, Derek. And even as you're sharing, like, that was an older version of me, that was at the gym for like way too long. I mean, less is more, right? And that's one thing that you've heard me say, and I say that often even to my clients, like, less is more. It's like, how can you be in and again, just give it all you got, and then get out. And there's a lot of science and studies around this, that it is much better for you to do that. So less is more. And it's just, again, a program that we've bought into, that we got to spend all day at the gym, or, you know, and that oftentimes is rooted in perfectionist and people pleasing kind of patterns that are very unhealthy. And I'm just calling myself out, because all I did was, you know, you kind of just break your body down, and it's emotionally and mentally exhausting. So it's like, less is more. How can I have fun while doing this? You know, and I think that's so important. You know, my mentor, Bob, he'd always say, if it's not fun, why are you doing it? Right. So, so back to the improving your mental well-being, and I hope that you're writing down these points. So the fourth point that I would make for all of you to improve your mental well-being is to don't let criticism knock you down. You know, my third point was pay attention to what you want. What do you desire? What do you want to create? When you start moving towards something you really love and something you desire, you're going to be shedding your old skin, your old ways, your old habits. And you've also attracted an environment and people that are also part of that. And, you know, there's going to be, you're going to be lacking at first the skill and the confidence and the understanding and education. That's normal. So it's just going to take some time when you start moving towards something you really desire. Opinions are a dime a dozen. You're going to have all those, you know, you're going to have that tribe that's used to you maybe going out. You know, Derek and I shared a lot around, you know, partying and drinking and negative habits. Well, you're going to have you know, that tribe that was out there drinking and not taking care of themselves with, you know, unfortunately, a weak mindset. They're not going to like that. I mean, change is scary. And so don't let criticism knock you down. Don't listen to the negativity. And although the people in your life, you know, your family and your friends, they mean well and they really want to help you, when you decide to evolve and to really grow and start moving towards more of what you do want, in a sense, it's going to feel like you're leaving them. And that is uncomfortable. And that is why I think, you know, when you look at anyone that's, let's say, had an addiction, it doesn't matter whether it's alcohol or drugs, or it could be eating donuts. I don't care what your drug of choice is. But they're used to you hanging out and doing those things with them. So you're going to have to get new friends. And I think that this is why when you, I know, like my father, for instance, he quit drinking for 7 years and he lost all of his friends. And that's not a bad thing. That was a good thing. But you have to get new, higher functioning, higher thinking people that are focused on leadership and growing and moving in the direction that you are in. That's where, you know, if you decide you're going to get your butt in shape, then, you know, you meet people at the gym, you start forming those healthy relationships, you start reaching out to those people that you look up to. It is so important that you do not let criticism knock you down, because the paradigm, and that's just that genetic and environmental programming, it's nasty. That's why my mentor, Bob, would always call it the devil. There's going to be critics there. You possibly might be one of your worst critics initially as well. So do not let criticism knock you down.
That's one of the biggest problems. I used to suffer with that. Like, it's the loneliness at the beginning of going, because you really have to, it's like a cocoon, you nearly have to fucking come out of this and leave that old life. And most people just, and I was one of these people, kept getting dragged, and up till recently kept getting dragged back in. And it's sometimes the fear of missing out, but you're missing out on bullshit. It's the same old talk. We know what I'm talking about. I having to get into details, the whole party world. And honestly, like, I think of a lot. Some people, I'm not saying, some people do enjoy a drink. I do know a few people, but if you ask 90% of the people, and if they were being honest, they're only doing that on the weekends to get away from their normal life. That's just the way it is. So, like, taking Tara's advice, and, you know, the internal work, and actually there's all of this really is an inside job, But when we blend the two of them together, it'll give you your transformation. But for me, it was also Saturday night and you get a text and then you go, okay. And then you're like beating yourself up like for a week on why did I do this? And that's the pattern Tara is talking about. And that's just common. It's sad as well as common. But the last point for me is accountability. And it's to be accountable to yourself, number one. Listen, other people, of course, other people are going to be important in your life, but it is making a decision and going, you know, we're talking about fitness. We're not only talking about fitness tonight, but it was the physical aspect and the mental aspect. So it's like committing, making a definite decision around what the information Tara gave you and around the information I gave you, and just going, okay, do you know what? I can't have it all now, but I can do one or two things, and I can get good at that over the next few weeks, and I can add another one or two things, and that'll build into something. And that's just being accountable to oneself at the end of the day. And without that, you know, I don't know where you're going to be, but it does start with the decision. Because if you ask people, hey, what do you want? I think I want that. That's another big problem in the world. I think I want that. Or could I do that? They're scratching their head. It's either fucking yes or it's a no. You know, simple as now. Obviously, other accountability will be, just say we're going to the gym. You ask somebody who has a bit of experience, one of your friends who you look up to, go, hey, do you mind if I tag along to the gym? Now, let me tell you, if you're going to do that, make sure you pull your weight. I do not want someone with me who I have to personal train in the gym because I'm there to do my own workout, and I'm certainly not clearing up weights. I've had all of this, by the way. So go to the gym, you go to learn, you go to look, observe, and apply. So that is whether you possibly have a friend or you've met somebody in the gym. And like, that's a bit fearful asking somebody as well. So like, again, this is now, you know, challenging you. The next alternative, let's be straight up, is to hire a coach who will fucking stand shoulder to shoulder with you and make sure you get the results. But if you do that, you're not signing up to a babysitting service, because there's no one going to adult babysit. Again, step one, accountable to oneself. The next step, just ask somebody, whether that's, again, coach, mentor, or someone you know, respect, a friend that just go to the gym with you. But make sure if you do that, you're pulling your weight, because there's nothing worse than somebody who's not pulling their weight in the gym. And what I mean by that is asking way too many questions when you can clearly see how to do it, and not unracking the weights and putting them back in their place. That's not the way forward, because this is what I'm talking about, babysitting. So there's a lot of big babies out there that want babysitting, but this is not life. This is not how we live life. Life is about falling on your face sometimes and just failing and going, okay, do you know what? And then actually being straight up and going. And I had to do it during the week with her. I had to be straight with her. I was a little embarrassed. I'm not getting into it now, but listen, you have to put on your big boy pants and go, this is my situation. But I will do what it takes to get out of it. And that's, you know, that's just part of life, Tara. And, you know, we all go through it. It's something, actually, there will be an opportunity if you look for it. And then the accountability, because Tara is a friend of mine. She keeps me accountable. I had someone else during the week. Hey, what are you doing? Just one question. Oh, geez, that's a good question, actually. It made me think, fuck, I better do that. You see, you don't even have to get a coach, but it helps to have leadership around you, because if people are ahead of you, steps ahead of you, you're going to listen, you're going to take the information, and you're going to apply it. Simple and straightforward.
Yeah, and I'd say, like, for me personally, and I just want to share this, is that it has been the coaching, it has been the mentorship. I would not be where I am today without phenomenal mentorship. And I know that. And you know, all you have to do is take a look at the people who came before you. I mean, they're your first mentors. I love my first mentors, or my mom and my dad, of course, my first mentors, but they showed me that the results that they got, that they didn't really know what they were doing. And so I do believe that it is key to find somebody who's getting the results that you want, who you know has understanding, who has education, and who can guide you. I do believe that that's essential. And yes, we have to do it ourselves, and we can't do it alone. And it's easy to see, people that are creating, and I used to do this, like, looking at others and thinking, oh, they're so successful, and, just really thinking it must be easy for them. And I can speak from personal experience from the older version of me, and who I am now is it's not easier for successful people, actually, because as you level up, it actually gets a little bit harder because the standards are raised. It's just that successful people, they've got the internal order and they're just doing what they don't want to do. That's like, your athletes, that's your, big business owners, this is, again, the common denominator of success is that successful people are doing what failures don't want to do. And guess what? You get to choose. You get to decide, are you going to stay stuck in failure mode? And the reality is we're going to fail our way to success. Or are you going to make a decision you're going to lead in your life? And I do think it's essential to having that, like you said, Derek, having the accountability, having the mentorship. And so my last point that I want to make is stop living in the past. And that goes in what Derek was just saying. And that was my fifth point that I wanted to make, because if you live in the past, it's going to make you miserable. I know, man, I can relate. I used to spend way too much time in the past. And this is where depression and anxiety, if you're someone who's experiencing a lot of depression and anxiety, and you just don't feel good, there's a good chance that you're spending way too much time living in the past, or, worried about what the future is going to bring. I mean, you got to stop that. I do believe it will kill you to spend your time dwelling in the past. Again, the reality is we're going to fail our way to success. Everything that even got you to this call with us is perfect. And every day you have this opportunity to be a new you. You're not the same person you were yesterday. So why would you keep living in the past? And you also do not want to hold other people to the past and to past failures and past mistakes. Because if you understand the way that the laws work, if you keep, putting those curses on others, you keep recreating the same thing. By the way, you send out a curse or negativity or, judgment of somebody, it actually comes back and hits you 3 times. And I remember that has always really stood out to me. So we really want to just talk good. We want to talk good behind people's back. We want to talk and really focus all of our energy on the present moment and where we're going to go. Now, a practice here to support you is just to be aware of maybe, again, the depression, the anxiety, the languaging around I should have, or I should statements, right? Like I should have been successful. I should have all this money, and this prosperity. Because again, you're living in the past. That will only keep creating more of what you don't want. So don't focus on the past. It's time to be right here, right now. Like Derek said, make a decision. If you're not happy with the way that your life is, if you're not happy with your results, change it. Change it. There you go. Those are my 5 points.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. I heard something I can't remember your man's name. I thought it was brilliant. People wake up and you're there, I have to do this. It's like a big fucking chore living life. First of all, I was that person. Now, believe me, we wake up every day. It's a privilege. It is a privilege to get out of bed, number one, to be able to train, right? I looked at another guy, I don't know, he was born with one arm. The man is one of the biggest you probably know him, Tara Canton, one of the biggest motivational speakers in the world, making millions. Fucking born with one arm.
Is it Nick Vovachuk?
Yeah,
Nick Vovachuk?
No, another guy, but I know who you're on about. These men, right? No hope. And they're doing it. So please give up your bullshit now and your excuses right now. And do put your health first, because it is about manning up. And I'm talking to women as well, just woman up, man up. But this guy said, we don't have to, we get to. And now that's unreal. And this is just reframing things. But your man, Nick, and this is another guy. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Nick Volbachuk is one of my heroes. When I'm feeling
Brilliant.
depressed or I just listen to him. He's pretty amazing.
Yeah, class. So like we have nothing but privileged lifestyle. And doesn't matter whether you fucking euro on your bank account or a million, you get to choose what you do to make that better. So listen, Tara, thank you very much for coming on tonight, sharing some great I don't want to say tips because they're more than tips. This is good knowledge that when you apply it, you will get the results. So we've done our job. Now you do your job. And as I said, leave a comment, come into my inbox, and I will answer any question. I'm sure Tara will do the same. So we will see you.
Yeah,
next
Derek,
time.
right? Application is key here, guys. Like, actually apply. And again, be a participator here. This is complimentary support. And I know that many people don't feel supported in their lives and feel like the world is against them, maybe even that creator's against them. This is complimentary to support you. And Derek and I both have been in those shitty spaces. That's why we're here serving and supporting you and moving towards your best life.
Good way to wrap up. Thank you, Tara. And we will see everybody next Thursday. Take care.
Okay, bye, everybody.